Probably not. Oh, wow. I did a video yesterday from my other computer that I was amazed it could even get online. Uh, I was literally shocked. Oh, it says I am live. Okay. Uh, all right, there we go. Now I'm back on whatever. Yeah, I did a video yesterday. I'm working on another one. I am so lost. Um, my GoPro camera doesn't take just one picture of anything. You hit the button to take a picture, and 15 pictures pop up. I, I have no idea what I'm doing wrong with the GoPro, but um, yesterday I had said something and I wanted to correct it, talking about how to protect the cells against invasive species. And I said iron, and I should have said zinc. Screwed that up. I hope too many people didn't hear it. But it's a different channel. You guys probably don't know about it. Um, but those that do know about it probably saw that video. And it's zinc, not iron. 50 milligrams of zinc. And Schweppes, oh shoot, Schweppes tonic water. There's an element being used in that tonic water, combined with 50 milligrams of zinc that protect the human cells from invasive species. Take that any way you want. Hey, Duncan, what's going on? Um, there's so much going on. Uh, I don't even know where to begin at this point. Um, garden soil, getting your hands on the book, understanding the nightmare that's coming, um, the food shortages. Now we're not allowed to see this stuff. Well, good morning, Miss Deidre. How's the girls? you know, uh, uh, oh, now I'm totally distracted. Thank you, Dee. Hugs and kisses, dear. Um, yeah, good. Have a good laugh for yourself. Um, um, well, check around, Duncan. I'll bet there's a lot of people that wouldn't mind getting some of those clippings. If I were closer, I wouldn't mind having them. Um, D, I mean, totally. Totally. Be proud of yourself. Good job. Uh, God, you silenced the wizard. Uh, uh, oh, okay. Get my head back on track. The media is just not allowing us to see what's going on in other countries, and the information that we were getting at the beginning of the pandemic, we're no longer getting. Um, even my friends from around the world. I mean, after the video, some of you probably don't know about it because that would be a third channel that you probably don't know about. Um, I had 248,000 views, and I was talking to people from all over the world. Oh, and had they all paid attention, to, the area they never look. Content down below. Look at the information down below. Click the link and see the show more tab. We'd be looking at me down in southern Ohio or even potentially Texas, searching for new property, getting ready to build the farm, getting ready to write the second book. That ain't happening. They want the information. Anyways, where I was headed, not to go into that other stuff. Hey, Miss JCT. Didn't even see you come in the room. Somebody distracted me and threw my train of thought and screwed me all up. And anyways, they had started to tell us, these other countries had started to tell us that they were facing the same food shortages. The powers that be, our hidden government, are not only working here in our country to tear it down, they're doing exactly the same thing in even smaller countries. There's a much bigger picture going on here. The food shortages you may not see yet, but it's coming. Tyson just announced today that because of the corona, get this, this blows my mind. Because of the coronavirus, they are now looking into automated butchers to process the meat. That's not what's going on. They're firing all the American workers in the Tyson factories so that those employees are not telling us what's going on inside those factories. That they're only processing contaminated meats coming from other countries and then turning it into our foods. Tyson was just recently named in a lawsuit for dumping waste in the Gulf of Mexico. Understand, they're a foreign-owned company. Anything you buy from Tyson is going to support a communist country. There's two others. The story gets worse. The more you look into it, the worse it gets. It's a nightmare. We got to stop buying Tyson. We flat out. We got to boycott Tyson. It's Bill Gates. And it's weird. Here's two of them. Here's two examples. Bill Gates buys 1,500 acres of property. For what? Nobody knows. At the same time, another Chinese company has come in near Fort Hood and bought another 1,500 acres of farmland. That's too close to a military base. Foreign entities that don't follow our guidelines and our laws, thanks, Bill Clinton, but yeah, we're screwed. We're screwed. Oh yeah, I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and oh my God, can I go on? And I don't want to do that to this channel. I've been avoiding it with this channel as much as possible. But when every commercial nowadays, and I don't go in front of a TV because I'd rather be outside. I want my Indian tan and what have you. I love summer. I love the sun. But every time I walk by a TV and I hear a commercial, this is CDC approved. This is The CDC is not a government agency or entity in any way, shape, or form. It's a private for-profit company. They have no jurisdiction in jack, except they're the dark state. Right along with WHO, right along with, and there's so many others. So many others. You know, there's a state senator come out. He's also a doctor, a practicing doctor, and he's a senator in Washington, D.C. He does both jobs. I don't know where he finds the time, but they are threatening his license because he's coming out talking about the truth and what's going on with this virus, the truth about what's being found out. You know, I don't know whether people really want to hear the truth or not anymore. I can't tell. You know, you start talking this or you start talking that, everybody freaks out on you. Oh my God, how can you say that? Oh my God. Well, the scientific research, the scientific study, the actual what's going on. You know, when the World Health Organization has control over what doctor with a degree and a license can or cannot practice, there's an agenda. There's something wrong. You know, a doctor gets his education and knows his stuff or is supposed to, and yet if you go against the narrative, they're going to take your license, you're not going to be allowed to do what you've spent your lifetime learning how to do. I, what? I don't understand. Honey, there's doctors everywhere that are getting threatened for coming out speaking the truth. Anyways, so these doctors, pathologists, what have you, went against orders and they autopsied COVID patients. They're not allowed to because WHO said so. WHO is nobody, another for-profit corporation, another one of the deep, dark state companies. They're nobodies. I mean, whatever. Well, what they found is that this isn't a virus at all. This is a disease. This is causing blood clotting. This is causing arterial breakdown. This is causing the blood to coagulate and slow down. This is all from the autopsies. This isn't supposed to happen this way. Per them, this is a breathing virus. This is not a heart blood coagulant anything. Well, they did some other stuff too. And what they're finding is that this virus that everybody's going to get regardless. I mean, come on. They're insisting you wear a mask that can't stop the size of the virus. It can't stop drywall dust. Seriously? And that's a bigger form, a bigger particle. So these masks are useless. They're actually causing your immune system to drop. That's why I've always said, grow plants indoors, grow plants all over your house, get healthier lawns because you're going to get healthier, cleaner oxygen right there at your house. It's wow, just wow, it'll blow your mind how bad things are. So if so what they're finding is when this virus comes in contact with a weakened immune system and then is exposed to 5G, the blood coagulates, the blood stops flowing, the heart shuts down, the brain shuts down. And I'm sure a few of you remember me talking about 5G before. Well, turns out the wizard was right. And I don't want to do that to this channel. This channel's about building healthy soil and taking care of your gardens and getting, and again, I should have brought garlic in. If you guys ask me to, I'll go get it. It'll take me a minute or two, but my garlics are, not quite softball, not quite as big as, but the taste difference from them giant softballs I was pulling down to these baseballs I'm now pulling, there's a considerable increase in flavor. Go get the garlic. All right, all right, all right. Give me a couple of minutes. I got to go out in the garage because it's out there drying in the shade, in the dark. So give me a couple of seconds. I'll be right back. Let me find music or something so you know I'm not dead or it didn't freeze. No. That's not what we want. Sorry, guys. Sorry. You don't want to hear that. Oh my God, no. I don't want to get in trouble either if I put anything else on. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I will be right back. I will go find it. I will go get some garlic and show you the size. Ugh. All right. Okay, sorry about that. I wasn't planning on doing this. So obviously I didn't have the garlic with me. I don't have any quarters that you can have a comparison. Okay. They're huge. They're huge. And the flavor just blow your mind. Okay, and I've got that bucket's over half full with those size garlics. That's what I'm growing here. That's what you can do with this information, with Green Wizard Guide information. And the increase in flavor and decrease in size, I can actually explain. I'm concentrating more vitamins and minerals in the garlic without having adequate and or excessive amounts of organic material in the soil. And I know I preach constantly, you have to have organic matter in there. Well, it did have organic matter. When I planted the garlic back in November, I also planted a bunch of radish seeds, a bunch of radish pods, a bunch of sunflower seeds. I took all 3 heads. I was curious. I wanted to know. So I spread seed out again in November, not when you're supposed to be planting radishes and sunflowers. Okay, so I jumped the gun, my own mistake, but I wanted to know if they would overwinter correctly. Well, no, they won't. Um, but I took one of those heads, one of those sunflower heads, big, huge, full of seeds, and I broke it into 4 quarters. And I put each of the 4 in separate corners in the garden, along with other things, along with, and you can call them amendments if you want to, but I put the alfalfa that I preach, I put alfalfa in there, I put grass clippings in there, when I went and pulled the garlic up, I dug into those corners looking for the organic matter, expecting to find these huge sunflowers all, root bound and killing each other and driving each other off and what have you. No, there's no sign of anything digging through there other than worm sign. There's nothing left. There's no sunflower heads that I had buried. None of it. None of the seeds are there. None of it. And I went down twice as deep thinking, okay, well, maybe something got it and pulled it even deeper or something. I went twice as deep. Gone. The organic material gone. So your soils, without the amendments, and this is another reason we've talked about, or I've talked about, in your gardens, go ahead and put yourself a compost hole. Any table scraps, throw them in the hole. Put a paint lid over it or something to keep the dirt from collapsing in on it. Or take a paint bucket, cut the bottom out, drill holes in it so worms can come and go. So worms can come and go, and keep the lid so that you keep the dirt out and it holds the sides up. And constantly keep dumping table scraps in there. They're going to be absorbed. They're going to be eaten. The organic material will break down in the soil. And this is where Food Forest Permaculture was talking, as far as when you build his pathway soil amendments, that material, in some cases, in the harder woods, is still there 3 years later. In others, they're not. Uh, hey, Anna, how you doing, dear? Uh, so yes, there's a lot going on. Find good sources of storable foods. Can as much as you can. I know it's that, but look, Amazon very quietly for 1 week only on TV announced they were getting ready to start supplying garden foods. Okay, it's coming. It's coming. And this is not garden grown anything. This is hydroponic, lab grown, GMO nightmare getting ready to come from Amazon. You're going to be able to order your food and your so-called, it's warning, 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 warning. And they only put it on for a week. They only said this for a week and backed away. So fear it. Look, in researching book 2 that you guys are apparently never going to see, in researching book 2, I know how they're growing this stuff. I know what they're doing. And you guys, it's bad. Hey, Reap what you sow. How you doing, buddy? Or the better half, whichever one it is stopping in today. Good morning. But yeah, this Amazon food, oh my God. And then you've got the I can't believe it's meat, or the vegetarian meat, artificial meat burger. Uh, Again, it would be great if it was made out of actual organic farm raised materials. It's not. This is lab grown, GMO, indoor factory controlled toxins for the human body. No, absolutely not. Um, I started out talking about the GoPro thing. I went out. I've been to this meat store. This it's not even a meat store. It's a mall with a meat store in it. And I'm trying to put this video together for it. And wow, just you are never going to be invited as a consumer inside a Tyson factory to see where your food comes from. You're never going to see them individually packing an order you have placed steak by steak as they cut it and butcher it in front of you. That you get from the steak place I found here in Ohio. Everybody needs to find one of these places and start talking about them, because the three main dogs, the three big ones, like I said, Tyson is under investigation for poisoning and toxifying through waste the Gulf of Mexico. They've been named in a gigantic lawsuit. And Tyson don't care, because Tyson's not American. They're owned by somebody else completely. So any foods being purchased under the Tyson name, all you're doing is supporting a communist country. Well, and this again, it's a slave country. That's why all businesses ran over there. And a lot of those companies have woken up to it. Gerber Food, or Gerber Medicals, whatever, for the children and medical stuff. Um, they were trying to send masks back to the United States. They were trying to send because they had changed everything over, and they were trying to send all this stuff back to the United States to help us with this virus. And China closed their shipping ports to Gerber and would not let them or allow them to ship the medical products back to the United States to help. So Gerber's closing up shop over there. Not enough companies are bailing, but they went over there for slave labor. What, $3 a day is what they pay their employees, and they're working 12-hour shifts, 13-hour shifts on an average. We got to stop. We have to come back to America. We have to start buying American. The food that's coming is going to kill you. It's already made us all obese. It's already made us all have cancer. It's already made us all have these other, mental issues. They're screaming about opening the schools again. Yeah, you know why they want to open the schools? Because they don't want parents teaching their kids history. They want to make them all Marxists. And these are government funded schools. I'm sorry, there's a problem. Well, I don't know anything about that. I haven't talked to Grizz in forever. What's going on, my friend Jerry? How you been, buddy? Uh, dude, yeah. Look, why do you think the governor of Michigan made that seed producer, I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. He's one of us. He's a YouTuber. He built everything on YouTube. Um, and he has a seed store in Michigan. Um, she basically shut him down and will not allow him to sell his organic seed. It's 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 terrible. Anna, I'm Crazy has tomatoes, wild heritage seeds that come back year after year, wild tomatoes. You guys need tomatoes. She's the lady to talk to get your tomato seeds for next year. She's going to have a ton of them coming off that mountainside, and they all come back year after year. These are heirloom, heritage, all organic because she's not out there planting tomato plants. They come back year after year. They're volunteer plants. These are the healthiest ones you can get your hands on. Um, yeah, just wow. And look, it's all soil. It's everywhere that is now suffering from all of this heat. Okay, somebody explained to me, and I see there's six of you, probably a few others hanging in the background that aren't talking, but somebody explained to me how when the world shuts down, no planes flying, no cars being driven, everybody's hiding in their house because, oh my God, this virus that only kills 0.015% or something or other in overall population, whatever. Why didn't the CO2 carbon emissions in the atmosphere drop in 3 months? It hasn't dropped at all. It's maintained itself. It's stayed exactly the same. It's because the soil's dying. It's because the CO2 that's been measured by the doctors and by the scientists, again, overpaid, not allowed to talk, are telling us it's the food web CO2. It's not overpopulation, it's the food web dying. It's expelling so much carbon and carbon monoxide that it's filling the atmosphere. Instead of dumping the carbon back into the soil where it belongs, it works as part of the filter. That's how these plants do their thing. I mean, if you want to get all scientific, well, maybe I should have wrote that 500-page book. It would actually sell because it would be all scientific and nothing but, and just confuse the hell out of everybody and not be for the common man. But yeah, it's we're facing a nightmare, and you know everybody's sitting back going, well, yeah, but they're starting to reopen the country now. Yeah, we're all blindsided chasing the damn freaking squirrel because we're all worried about what this terrorist organization is doing or what this anarchist group is doing or what that. Screw that noise. The food, you the food, we don't have it. They're still ordering farmers all over the country to grind under their food over this virus that no, no. On Amazon right now, I think they've got it for under $14. Um, but people, I mean, it's shocking. It's scary. I'm sure somebody else has the link. Um, let me hold on, Nathan. Let me see if I've got it still up. Uh, All right, here's the website. That's my website. I've got control over that one, but that takes you directly to Amazon. That'll get you directly to the book. Um, and look, a lot of the things that are in the book are all natural, all organic. You can find a lot of it. I'm going to say a good 55 to 60% of the answers and the solutions you can find around your yard and around the house. They're all organic and usable things. All right, what's an example of one? Epsom salt. Most women have Epsom salt laying around because they love to jump in the minerals in a bathtub and relax along with their bubbles and blah blah blah. So most people have Epsom salt around the house. What people don't know is that when you apply Epsom salt to your soils and it comes in contact with clay, it loosens the clay bed and allows roots to penetrate it once again, allows organic matter to get in there. So as you apply Epsom salt from Epsom, England, or sodium burr, something, whatever, Epsom salt, not flavored, not scented, not candleized or crystallized, or just plain old Epsom salt. When you apply that to the clay under your garden, it softens it, it weakens it, it breaks up its compaction, and it allows you access to the minerals once again. There are millions of minerals packed inside the clay beds that, because the organic life is gone and because the organic material is gone, is no longer available to your plants. Just a simple handful of Epsom salt. Now, say you've got tomatoes out in your garden that are starting to suffer a little bit, starting not to have the rich color green, or they're starting to see a little bit of yellow dotting on it, or this, that, or the other. Epsom salt. There's iron in it. Epsom salt has no sodium. It is not actually salt. It is a concentration of minerals. That's all it is. But it's a certain concentration of minerals. It doesn't have the broad spectrum of minerals that some of the other things in my book have. But for the immediate, right now, green up, go get a beer and go get some Epsom salt. Let the beer go stale and spray it on your yard, spray it on your garden, and watch it green up. Add some Epsom salt and it's going to kick butt. Yes. And there are a few people here that have read the book, and they will tell you this is not a normal book. This is a book where you sit down with a cup of coffee, and it's like talking to me here, or talking to me sitting on the front porch, and me tell you, hey, look, I can screw up just as good as anybody. I was weed master. I grew every sort of weed you can possibly imagine, and I was master at weeds because I followed the NPK system, and I used every piece of garbage that every big box store offered. So my yard was incredible. Well, yeah, Mother Nature's trying to stop me from doing what I'm doing, so she's pouring on the weeds, and the weeds are having a field day in my yard. Like right now, it's 90 plus degrees outside. We have not seen rain in weeks. Every one of my neighbors' yards has turned brown and stopped growing, except for the weeds that they have in their yard. Every one of their yards is burning up. Now mine is still growing strong, growing green, and no weeds. That's what I do in my garden too. No weeds. There's other solutions in the book that you can apply to a flower bed or apply to a garden that stop all your weeding. So you're not working in the garden, you're enjoying your garden. People just don't understand. And let's go worst case scenario. Let's talk about this bug out situation. Things are bad. If you got a bale, this is the kind of information you want in your backpack. because it tells you where to go find these kind of things that you can use a handheld hoe, little emergency shovel you'd have in your backpack, and start building a garden and get the seeds, the emergency seeds out of the vault, and get those things in the garden and get them growing with just very simple, basic knowledge. The knowledge is in the book. It gives you it tells you what's available in nature, nature's way. Now, granted, we can do more if we add more, and I put that stuff in the book too. So not only can you just go organic, you can soup it up and make it right now. Jerry may or may not still be here. He had a flooding condition, too much clay, excessive clay in his yard. And every time it rained down there where he's at, his house would flood. He'd have these issues. He had to be out there and awake and up all night and watching this and watching that, waiting for something to get destroyed. His wife read the book. His wife went out and applied some of these methods to the yard. They don't flood anymore. They store every bit of water in their yard. There's no running water anywhere. Trees are coming back. The bugs are going away. All of this from a 114-page book. And this happened in under 2 weeks of applying the method. And as you apply more and more, and no, it's not a yearly thing. That's what's great about the organics and going back to organic life and reclaiming your soils and getting rid of the clay is you no longer need to use this stuff because the minerals are in the clay, but without having access to the clay. And all you got to do to know if you've got too much clay, walk around your yard, walk up next to your trees. If you're starting to see roots or you're starting to see moss around the tree, you've got too much clay. The tree's dying. That's why the moss is there. The moss is a sign that the roots are starting to decay in the soil. Epsom salt. Epsom salt, pour it on. Beer, pour it on. Start bringing that soil back to life. The soil will rise once again as the worms come back. And again, there's a trick in the book that you can use on a hose end sprayer that will bring the worms back into your yard, bring the worms back into your garden, bring back the organic materials, bring back the organic life. All of this stuff is right now stuff. All of this stuff works immediately, the same day, if not the next day. You know, I went through, and you didn't see it, Nathan, because you weren't here just a little bit ago. I went through and I ripped up my garlic bed, destroyed it, looking for things. Because I test every year. I test different methods and different ideas and different what ifs. And I'm hardcore about garlic. And I wiped out the bed, nothing left, all bare soil. So I showed, when I talk about covering the soils, it's in the video I just released a day or two ago on this channel. I showed what I'm talking about when I'm talking about cover the soils. But I dug through that soil, and even with a shovel, it still digs up fairly easy. It's work, but it digs up fairly easy. I only had to go down 8 inches, a foot, and I was hitting pockets of moisture to the point where it was filling with water. And I'm not in the water table. I'm living on a hillside. And I'm finding water throughout my garden, even though I've got bare exposed soil that's been exposed now for 2-3 days, or at that point had been, because I dug it all up on the 4th of July and walked away. So like, okay, I'm done. But I mean, this is the size garlics I grow. And it's tons of it. Do I use fertilizer in my garden? Yes, but a very specific type. I use only organic fertilizers. And I cover those in the book, and I'm experimenting with a new one this year. It's basically the same principles, but it's souped up a little bit. All organically, all safe. I want to use it before I say what it is and see what the results are going to be. But basically, Dude, if you want to throw fertilizers down, go throw some manure down. If you're looking for an easier way to not be doing that, use your table scraps. I know you're going to sit there and go, what are you talking about? Simple. Take a bucket, a paint bucket, a simple 5-gallon bucket, cut the bottom off, cut some holes in it, dig a hole in your garden and slide that bucket in there. All that bucket is there for is to just keep the dirt from caving in. Use the top and take all of your table scraps and stick them in that bucket and let that break down naturally and organically. And that's going to pump more fertilizer into your soils than you can imagine. If you're looking for something to just drive up the nitrogen levels, because I always say never leave bare exposed soil, go find yourself some clover seed and throw it all over your garden and grow whatever plant you want and clover. And it will pump nitrogen and carbon back into the soils, and your plants are going to thrive. It's incredible stuff. Nature has provided everything we need, and it's all covered in the book. But it's in such a way that I'm talking to you. We're having a conversation. You're learning from my mistakes instead of you going to the big box store and buying all the wrong stuff, because I already did it. Why would you want to duplicate what I did, going to the big box stores, spending $300 a year or more, trying all this garbage that they tell you have to do again next year, when you can go to the feed store and get exactly the same stuff, the right stuff, and only have to do it once, maybe every other year, maybe every third year, and you apply this stuff to your yard at $150 purchase price for everything in one shot. This is about saving money, saving your life, because everything you do, breathing air and the toxins that are in the air, as I sit here and smoke a cigar, right? Everything is to do with nature and your food and your diet. Everything. Now, granted, you break a bone or what have you. All right. I can't give you a solution for how to reset that and what food to eat that's going to make that bone mend in 10 minutes. But if you're eating bad food from the grocery store that has zero, if any, nutritional value, and can only have the 12 vitamins, minerals, and sideline products, the NPK, that's all they're allowed. In the NPK process, there are only 12 minerals and vitamins allowed in the soil in the NPK process. And you wonder why everybody's got cancer. We need the mighty 90. It's 90 different minerals, 90 different. It all has to be in the soil, and it's trapped in your clay. And the food, flavors, and differences. When you can reach into your garden, just as a last minute example, when you can reach into your garden and you can brush up against a yellow pepper plant, just brush against it and get some of that oil on the back of your hand, and it burns you. Yeah. You think hot peppers are bad. When you amp the soils up and you grow hot peppers, holy cow, just my yellow banana peppers were that toxic that they burnt the back of my hand. Absolutely, Nathan. Perfect stuff. And if you have access, to dairy cows, see if you can get a paint bucket full of raw milk for this fall to prep your garden. I know you're going to sit there and go, what the hell are you talking about? Dude, all of the active microbes and bacteria that are in raw milk. Not only are they good for us and good for our bone and good for bone marrow and incredible for brain anti-fog and what have you, when you put this in your soils and you let those active microbes and bacteria really go to town on your soil and the minerals that are available next to your growing crops, everything explodes. Oh my God, because you're putting in the good microbes, the good bacteria, and you're just spraying it on your soil, and your soil will go bonkers. Well, Jerry, the reason for this, well, you hang around guys like me and Bobby, and we'll mess your head up. We will. I'm sorry, we will. I don't know how many lawnmowers you've gone through this year, but you read my book, you listened to me, you ignored your yard for 2 weeks, and you come back and burn up a lawnmower. Now apply that to a garden, though. Do you want gardens that are growing like wildfire? You've already seen what it can do to your grass. Just imagine what it could do in a garden for you. And yes, there are concentrations of minerals throughout the United States. Again, I cover them in the book, except for Bloomin' Minerals. I didn't have authorization to put that one in there. And it's the Mighty 90. That's the one you want to throw down. That's the one you want to really go to town with. But I didn't have authorization from the owner and from Youngevity to even mention Bloomin' Minerals. I do now. Dude, I'm sorry. You got to keep that blade sharp. You got to sharpen that thing twice a year, and you can't wait 2 weeks between cuttings. You can't. You can't. No, it's as you get through this, you're going to see that other strains of grass are starting to grow in your soil. And don't stop them or what have you, because they'll end up shorter, and you'll find that you're cutting grass less and less as you get the different breeds of grass to come in there. You got to remember, they used to consider grass a weed because it was something nobody wanted. Jerry, I know, dude. I have one of those yards. I follow my own instructions, and dude, my yard is, and because other people started hassling me on Facebook, I stopped posting every time I cut grass. They were going nuts. They do not want to know. They really don't, because I was showing pictures of my before and after cuts, and by the time I hit the 15th cut, they were like, "Stop! We don't want to know anymore. Don't post any more pictures of your lawn. We don't stop. You're killing us," because it is what it is. And once you get the basic understanding, and I'm directing this more so towards Nathan, because I'm assuming he hasn't bought the book and he's asked the right questions. Once you get the basic understanding of what's going on in your soil, and you start treating those soils like the living being that they are, everything else, everything else growing around your yard takes off. Because all of a sudden you're not fighting it with the NPK system, worrying whether you're acidic or neutral or none of that matters in nature. Nature takes care of her own. None of that stuff matters. What matters is what's going on in the soil as to whether you're retaining water, whether you're putting toxins in. These people want to run out and buy wood chips like crazy. oh my God, and I got to have red or I got to have brown to go with my house, and I want it to pop and I want it to this, and oh my God, it's starting to bleed off and I'm not seeing the pretty colors anymore, so I need to get some more. Yeah, the colors are bleeding off. They're toxic chemicals bleeding off into the soil, killing everything and driving away the organic life in the soil. And it's destroying everything. And then they sit back and go, well, global warming. Well, yeah, but your house is pretty and you've really got this beautiful wood chips over there from, poison sumac trees and this, that, and the other because they're, hey, but it's pretty. Dude, you had puddles, you had running water, you had barren soil, you had dude, you had every combination of proving my book correct. You had it all going on. And the funny part is a man didn't have to read the book to go out there and apply this stuff. Your wife did it. Well, no, and look, Nathan, it's not me saying, "Hey, look, you don't know anything." It's understanding that for every spoonful of soil, there's a million life forms in a spoonful. And that every time you put down an NPK chemical fertilizer, you're killing how many millions of life forms? That's the understanding. And it's really spooky the way the Bureau of Land Management and the powers that be in every state that control and dictate farmers and how they do things. It's really spooky the way they come along and say, oh no, you need to do iron. You need to do nitrogen, potassium, phosphate, and you need to get it from this chemical company, or we're not going to give you your subsidies for this year. So you're telling me I have to chemically toxify my soils. I'll only be able to grow a GMO plant on my soils, or I'm no longer allowed to farm. And organics are out the window. Pay attention to that. Something's a little off there. Something's a little off. When a GMO farmer, a Monsanto farmer, can sue you because his seeds and his pollinators came over and crossbreeded or cross contaminated your crops, and you can be sued out of your crops. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. And it's really weird the way GMO plants only survive in GMO atmospheres and can't reproduce. You have to go to their GMO seed every year. Your seeds in your farm will not grow over and over, year after year, under the GMO policies and the GMO system. GMO seeds don't come back a second year. See anything wrong? And why nobody's paying any attention to this, I don't understand. You should be able to grow. Okay, let's just go with an acre. We'll offhandedly, and I know I'm losing some of you, but you should be able to grow an acre of corn. And from that acre of corn, you should be able to pull 1/4 of that corn to reseed the full acre next year and be able to sell off the other 3/4 without a single problem. But in a GMO Monsanto run farm, none of those seeds will reproduce. You have to go back and buy more GMO seed. Well, I have guys like Jerry come with traps and trap them all, and then we have lunch, cookout, roadkill stew and stuff. Um, they're real good at that. Them country boys, man. No, they're coming in for specific things. They're coming in for specific rodents. They're coming in for specific. They're looking for water. They're looking for this. They're looking for that. As we garden this way, we're killing the water table. There's nothing left. Uh, you need. There's a sonic squealer that only goes off when an animal gets near it. That will drive a lot of the raccoons and the possums away. Uh, but what I tell a lot of people is, look, if you've got a garden and you've got miscellaneous going on, and you start taking some of your table scraps out, put them somewhere off to the side, way, way, way away from your garden, so that the animals and the possums and what have you are attacking your waste materials. They're not actually in your garden. And as you get moving things and what have you out there, it drives a lot of these things off. Uh, Cherokee purple, what? Oh, Jerry, dude. Oh my God, she found some. Oh my God, Jerry, what is wrong with you, man? All right. It was found that the original strain of tomato grows wild in the Amazon. They found it on one of the Aztec buildings down there. And when they templated it, or they went through scientifically and they looked at it, it is the original foundation cherry tomato that we all now have. Through crossbreeding and through contaminations and through man's manipulation of them, they made their way over to Europe, and they turned into something completely different, which is the red tomatoes that we now have today. The original, hardcore, original tomato ever found has been found in the Amazon, grows in vines wild down the side of some of these pyramids, and they're black cherry tomatoes. So you're seeing a hybrid purple that's come from the original strain. They're starting to bring that one back. And it's got even more antioxidants in it than most of the other stuff that we have around today, because the red doesn't carry near as many as the dark color tomatoes. Oh my God, Jerry, dude. I know it's complicated, Jerry. Put down the crayon and read a book, buddy. It might help you. I know. Write the second book, dumbass, so that we can know how to garden correctly. And I'm not saying you guys aren't, but I'm finding some really incredible stuff, and I'm duplicating it, and it's working. I just want to do it on a much larger scale so that I can absolutely prove it to you. I don't look. It took me 15 years to write the Green Wizard's Guide. Between all of the what do we want to call them? Bobby McNutt crayon screw ups until I got it right. And then breaking it down from there and getting it, to the most basic to get the best results. And then another 5 years to actually write the book that you guys enjoyed, that you guys had fun with. Because it's not a technical manual. This is, holy shit, this dude's a fuck up. What the hell was he thinking? That's me. I'm sorry. But learn from my mistakes. That's the book this is. My neighbors busted my chops. They were relentless. Yet I got the better results. That's the kind of book we need to be reading today, because some of these technical manuals are putting words out there that We don't need to make a scientific word for tomato. It's a freaking tomato. What the hell? We don't need to science this stuff up and pay some moron $200,000 a year to sit in a science lab to go, oh, well, we're going to call it methylphenidate and use some English, Latin, Roman, twisted fucking. It's a freaking tomato. Ugh. All right, Nathan, we'll see you, buddy. Appreciate you stopping. But yes, okay, perfect example. Calcium. Calcium. One of the strongest things that we can have in our soils for all of our green plants. Because the calcium, just like it works in the human body, strengthens the plant itself. So your corn, your tomato vines, your this, your that, your peas, all of that stuff can be even stronger and withstand itself against winds and other miscellaneous problems. You need calcium. Well, I'm sorry, I am not going out someplace and spending $50 for enough calcium to treat half an acre. That's not going to happen. I've got eggs. And you sit back and go, what? Eggshells. Simple eggshells. Keep your eggshells. Keep them in the cartons. Let them dry naturally. No, they don't stink. That's all the rest of the material and from inside the egg, but the eggshell itself. Grind that thing up, let it powder dry, let it sit for months, or take it out in the sun from fresh and let it powder dry. Grind that thing up. I don't care if you run over it with a car, it doesn't matter. That's what you put in your garden. There's the calcium your plants want. They thrive on it. Okay, here. More example time. I keep buckets of this stuff around. This is a bucket of eggshells. I went through 78 dozen eggs last year, hand grinding them, sitting here talking to you guys, so that I can apply this to the garden. And when I went through and dug up that garden this year, guess what I couldn't find? None of this. There was no more eggshells left in the soil. It was all gone. When the organic life in the soil is working correctly, everything disappears the way it's supposed to, because it ends up back in the plants. Those stalks were extremely strong. Even Missy was treating them like they were pieces of wood and running around with them playing. Thought it was great until she bit down on it and got that blast of garlic in her mouth. Then she spit that thing out and came back to get another stalk. It's hilarious. I should have videotaped it, but whatever. It's all natural. You don't need to be going out buying all these chemicals. You have this stuff at home. If you're eating right and your stomach's right and you're healthy because you're eating right, you've got the stuff at home. Everything that you need. And it's all laid out in the book. But we got to get off Tyson. We've got to get off these big box stores. We have to run from this stuff. Hey, Robert, what's going on, buddy? How you been? I haven't seen you in a while. Come on. Why is it perfectly okay for Walmart to be open when every mom and pop store in the country has to close and go out of business? When the mom and pop stores are selling exactly the same products. Somebody want to explain that to me? There's more going on here than what they're telling you. And you want to sit back and go, well, why doesn't the government step forward and do something about it? Because it's not the government doing it. When we're listening to the CDC, a private corporation, or the WHO, a private corporation, something's wrong. Something's way wrong. When the private companies are running the world, something's wrong. Hell yeah, Robert. I found one. I'm trying to put together this video, and I'm not an editor. I'm not a video creator. It's. I've been working on this thing for weeks, but I found one, and everybody should find one as good as this place because it's open door policy. You can watch everything being butchered. You can watch everything being cut up and bagged up and put together for your order, ready to go in your freezer or ready to go right on your table. The 20-ounce steaks were these are steakhouse quality steaks, melt in your mouth, incredible, that I threw on the grill. That's what they give us every single order. It's incredible stuff, and it's, by comparison, it's inexpensive. I went into the grocery store just to compare prices, and it was twice the price for half the cut. And God only knows what they're doing to the meat. 3 years ago, NBC did a news article, and I'm going to put this in the video. They did a news article on it, and you don't know what is really going on anymore. You don't. You can't trust it, and unless you can walk into the place and see them doing the work in front of you, don't trust it. Don't buy it. Oh my God. See, June and I have a friend that was into this. Some issues came up and he had to stop. And he was growing pigs. Incredible. And he was telling us that what you get in a grocery store and what they're trying to sell you as a pork or a pork chop or a pork roast or what have you is entirely the wrong color compared to fresh, farm raised, butchered hogs. No comparison. Flavor difference, totally different when they're grown organically and almost wild. Total difference. Yeah, what's the name of his channel, June? So that these guys can go find it, because obviously we can't post links. And well, yeah, you can post a link. I'm sorry. So that these guys can go see this individual, because his old videos tell you he wrote a book himself about wanting to be a farm or be a pig raiser or a hog raiser, and now he are one or something or other like that. Mountain Crest Farms, that's it. He wrote a book, and he has read my book. He's got a copy of my book and loves it. You know, he didn't sit down and do a specific video like Jerry did and like some of these other incredible channels have done. But highly recommends the book. If you don't understand it, you're a first time gardener, or you just want to add some soup ups or whatever to your garden, things you've forgotten, things that are available. This book will remind you. These are the old ways. This is what the Indians were trying to tell us, and we were too arrogant to and now we just erase history. We just rip down monuments. We don't care. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what monument it is. We are Marxistly erasing history across the country. So a book like this is a gold mine, because it reminds you of the past. It reminds you of what we've done. It reminds you of what we know. The scientific method does not work on a farm, does not work in a garden. It causes more problems. That's why we have obesity. That's why we have cancer. That's why we have all of these other rampant diseases. I shouldn't. Well, I'm going to stop, because I want to go off on a tirade about something totally different that I don't want to really do on this channel. But Zinc, everybody. Zinc and Schweppes tonic water. 50 milligrams of zinc a day and 3 ounces of Schweppes. This is an old world remedy. This is an old world. This is something your grandmother would have told you. Okay? There's something in the tonic water that works with the zinc that makes your cells and your cell walls like armor. And even with this disease going around and this man-made, manipulated, whatever the hell it is, your cells become naturally defensive. It's like putting them in body armor. And the disease can't do anything. It can't go anywhere. It runs into cells that it cannot manipulate. Schweppes tonic water and 50 milligrams of zinc every day. And no, I don't mean a lifetime. I don't mean it. I'm talking 30 days and stop, 30 days and stop, 30 days and stop. Build your immune system. That's what you need your garden for. And you need it growing right in an organic manner to get your immune system back on track. I have said this for many years now, and I will continue to say it. They jumped the gun. We are still too healthy for this particular disease to have affected anybody. And no matter what Fauci says, or Fauci, or whatever, Fukushima, whatever his name is, when he's making nothing but profit and still dictating to you what you can and cannot do, something's wrong. And he's profiting from it. Always said, follow the money. So, all right, I'm not going to chew your ear anymore. I don't know how long I've been here. I don't know whether you want to hear me anymore or preaching anymore, but this is what's going on, everybody. Buy local. Stop supporting communist countries, because that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. We've got to stop. We've got to go the other direction. We've got to get back to home. We've got to fix this. We have to head somewhere else. Hey, Grizz, you're late. I'm just shutting down, buddy. Glad you stopped in. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, Schweppes tonic water and zinc, 50 milligrams a day. You guys, you all take care. Hope to see you again. Hope to see you tomorrow. I appreciate your support. Please share this out, because there's a lot I covered here that people need to hear. Y'all have a great day. I will definitely be looking for each and every one of you to pop up another video so I can come see it and see how you're doing. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for stopping in. I'm out of here because I'm tired of talking and my coffee cup is empty. So we'll see you, everybody.